welcome back to the channel. I'm actually on my way up to my work on my day off to do a favor for my dad. That's right, folks. Heading up to my job to do a favor, and that favor consists of a gooseneck trailer that's been sitting for the past almost 8 years, I think. Yeah. My dad's had this trailer. He's been debating whether he wants to go buy another one or fix this one up. And I pretty much told him, I said that it's going to be far cheaper to rebuild the one that he's got versus going to buy a brand new one, especially in today's economy. So that's what he did. He hired somebody to take the trailer to their house or their shop or whatever, I don't know where it was, and basically do a once over on it, revitalize the trailer, new floors, new tires, new wheels, new hubs. There's gonna be new wiring done on it, new paint job, the works, that kind of thing. Basically, make it almost a brand new old trailer, because it's far cheaper to do that. And that's exactly what he did. Instead of buying a brand new one, which was good. Now I'm on my way up there to go and see the finished product of what the previous people that had worked on this trailer did. So heading up there and go check the brakes on it, check the hubs, check the wiring. I really don't give a shit about the paint job, but basically just do a once over, make sure it's ready for the road, and see if there's anything that I can do to improve it, make sure it's safe for operation. So I will see you guys at my job next, and we'll go from there. Oh, Hemi power. I'm more power, baby. Oh, shit. I love this tuner. Oh my god. Oh man. I love this Diablo tuner. Oh my god. This thing is sick. Oh, I better slow down before I get in trouble. Nope. All right. Well, let's check out this trailer. This is my dad's trailer, our gooseneck. Apparently it's a Falcon. The reason why we had left this before was the crank that was on this side, which is now over there. The gearbox had stripped out. You guys can see, yeah, the gearbox stripped out, so they went ahead and took this to another location, and they put this on here, which they ended up cutting into this. That's a totally different bracket, and they could have done a better weld, but okay, that's fine. They moved the bar over here to this side, so this is gonna have to be, man, that's gonna have to be adjusted, because on this side they got this tube sleeve in here and it goes all the way through to this crank, but over here they didn't do that. They just cut it out with a plasma cutter, so whenever you go to turn this, it's gonna rub around and grind away at that post. So I'm gonna have to fix that later. All right, so let's see here. All these connections, this looks okay. Looks all right. There was a wire in here before, which would be this here, this trailer wire. Oh no. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that. Oh no. Yeah, this is your trailer wire, guys. Yeah, we're gonna fix that. Looks like for this bracket here, they put these very long, sharp self-tap screws that are about, what, 2 inches long. I can't have that. I'm gonna fix that. You know, this ground up here that's sticking out, that's half-assed. He painted over something. He sure did. So they painted over the strap. That's the shit I'm looking at right now. Now you know what I'm dealing with. Nice. All right. The foot looks good though. I mean, that's operational. Pretty easy to work with. All the lights are new. These are brand new. Lights brand new. Markers are new. The flooring is new. That's good. It looks solid. The tires are brand new. Rims are brand new. The lights, these are brand new. Wrapped on there with some electrical tape. That's gonna have to be replaced. I don't like it when people use electrical tape out in the elements like that. It looks like garbage. Yeah, lights are new. I don't know what happened here, but I'm gonna fix that later. All right, so. Oh my God. Can you hear that? That's a loose hub. That one's solid. Yeah, that hub, that's a bad hub. Let me check this other side. You can hear it. Oh, this one's bad too. I bet you them bearings are bad. All right, well, let's go ahead and open up the shop. Get this side up, take these wheels off, and see what we're looking at. Let's start on the back one first. They even took the time to paint the hubs. Okay. I'm gonna take this grease cap off to get to those. All right. There's a nut that's behind here for that axle. That's what holds this on here. So let me go ahead and pop this off and clean it up. All right, so how I got this off, I used a screwdriver and my dead blow hammer. It's a sand-filled mallet, and I tapped around the edge, or I would roll it and then tap it away, so eventually it would work its way back out. It doesn't rotate, it just pops straight out. Now if you look close, that's the grease that's supposed to be in the bearings, right? You see a crack? That means that grease is turned into no longer a gelatin, but it's almost solidified. So this is old. See how it's cracked on the inside, the grease? So yeah, this grease is old and it needs to be repacked. And then, I don't know if you guys can see, but you can hear it too. That bearing's loose. So I'm gonna take all this stuff off here, clear it, there's a cotter pin that's right here, and another nut. I'm going to pop that off and try to reveal the rest of it. So give me a second. Okay, now that I got all that grease, or most of it, removed, you can see there's a cotter pin that holds this in place. This is a Castle nut. This is a retaining nut. All right, and this, whenever it gets tightened up, it actually applies pressure to the inside of that bearing. But as you can see, I'm able to do this with it, and I'm not supposed to be able to do this bare fingers. It's actually supposed to be under some kind of another torque. So this needs to be tightened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off all the way. I'm going to pull that bearing out, check it anyway, check the race and see if it's good, if it's got any play in it, which I really don't think it's going to have any play. Take it out, repack it with new grease, put it back on. You really shouldn't reuse these Castle nuts, especially the cotter pins, because reusing cotter pins damages my soul. But this cotter pin's too small. I'm gonna need to replace it with a bigger one. I don't think I have any here, but I'm gonna have to look and see. But let me take all this stuff apart. Pull this. I should be able to pull the hub straight off and get that bearing out of there, and then we'll take a better look at what we have to work with. Tip whenever it comes to cotter pins, a cotter pin, it splits in two. What I just found out was this one here was bent up. Both parts of that cotter pin were bent in the same direction. I would recommend not doing that. I would have them, whenever they come out the bottom, split and go in the opposite directions so that it holds everything in place, so that you don't get this kind of play. So you just bend that straight again and straighten it out and just tap it up and pull it out. Stick that in there. And just like that, she comes out. And I do my best not to reuse cotter pins. It's not good. But I can do this with bare fingers. I should not be able to do this. Unreal. My bet is I can do this with all of the other ones as well. So I'm gonna clean all this, repack them. That bearing, I wonder if I can pull that off. Oh, there's your bearing. There she is. And then this hub comes out. Should just come straight off. Oh, yeah, the surface on that looks okay. But we're gonna take that apart and clean it. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, it's heavy. Oh man, that's heavy. I didn't expect it to be that heavy. Oh wow. All right. All right, let me clean all this off. Looks like the surface area on the inside looks pretty good. That's for the emergency brakes or the trailer brake system. But yeah, let me clean all this out, especially this bearing here. This is another bearing. There's two of them. That one looks like it's got a little bit of play in it. I'm not really happy with that. Let me give my dad a call and show him what I found, and let me see what he wants to do with this. We may have to pull this one out altogether. Yeah, this got a lot of slack in it. Oh man, that's a lot of slack. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. And then as for the spindle, pull that clean. And you check the surface. This is called a spindle. This is what that axle or the bearings ride on. All right, so I had to get this back bearing out of there, and there's a seal that goes over it, and I got this one out. Now I wouldn't take a screwdriver from this side. Don't do that. Go to the front, lay it down on its back, put a piece of like paper towel underneath it, and then take your screwdriver, big flat screwdriver, and go up against the corner, and with the back of your palm, or just with your palm, and pop it out and work your way around the edge, and that will pop this seal out, most likely without damaging it. So I managed to get this one out by that method. This looks like a mess. It's just fine. What I'm able to see is I'm not feeling, really not feeling any play, any real play, but there is some play, and it's not really that good. That grease should be like bright red. It's almost black. This is old. It's very, very old grease. What I'm looking at is this part of the axle too. This is where those these needle bearings go. That's where they ride. Right here. And what you want is for it to just sit still and spin like so. And I mean, there's really not a lot of play. Actually, that's actually not bad. It just need to be packed on the backside a little more. So actually, I think we can save this bearing. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of play in it. It just needs to be repacked. But on the inside, that's what she looks like. Made in China. What a mess. So I'm just gonna go ahead and repack these, but I think I might be able to reuse this. It's not ideal to reuse it, but it's not really damaged. It's actually in really good shape. I just gotta clean it up, get all this grease, because this is just like super thick, and it's really not supposed to be that thick. It's like a blob of jelly. A blob of jelly. Yeah. But yeah, just repack these, because I'm moving it back and forth like it's supposed to be, and it's not going anywhere. So that's good. Yeah, I'm just gonna clean these up, blast them out, clean them, probably soak them in gas and break all that shit out of there, and then repack it with fresh grease. This is a mess. Just throwing it out there. You can clean it. Usually I take like a small like a dish or something with like gasoline, and I'll take the actual bearings and I'll just set it in there and kind of shake them up, and it breaks up that the gas breaks up the grease. Or you can use brake cleaner and it works just the same. Make a mess, but it works. See, it's all shiny. Pressure. And what I'll do is I'll take compressed air, blast it out the backside, using this to break it up. This is why soaking in gas is so much easier, because you don't go through as much of this. This is as far as I've gotten so far. I'm fixing to give my dad a call and let him know what I found. I've only got to one. I still have to do this one and that one over there. The one on the right front, that one feels pretty solid. I know the mechanic worked on that one. It feels okay. I will take out the grease cap to look and see what's going on and see if it's got some slack in it. But a little tip on how to clean some of these bearings. The fastest way to do it, besides using brake cleaner, is go get yourself a little water bottle like this, cut off the top and fill a little bit of gasoline to the bottom, about maybe a quarter of the way, and then take your bearings. This is what I did when this one was just caked, and I just dunked it in there and shook it around for a little bit, and it cleaned it right up. This has always been my go-to. This is the fastest way to do it. So if you ever need to clean your bearings, there's a little hack for you. Just do that, shake it around, and if you find like diamond plate, something like that, set the bearing inside there and then just drag it across the bottom. See how it shakes up the bottle itself? Well, that agitates the grease inside the gasoline and helps it break it apart. So whenever you pull it out and kind of like wash it off, everything just falls right out of the bearing. It's fantastic. But anyway, I've got everything all cleaned up. I got the bearings over there, they're clean. That's clean. The back seal is clean. The race and the hub is clean. The spindle is clean. It's just ready to be thrown back together. I've got the grease over there. I'm gonna pack it and then put it all back in, and I'll probably show you a little bit of how to do that. I'm trying to do that without getting grease all over my hands. But yeah, what you'll end up doing is, or you're probably wondering how to pack a bearing, and I'll show you guys how to do that with your hands. They do have tools that will help you do it, but I've done it by hand forever, and it's been the easiest way to do it. Now, like I said, they have a machine where you put the bearing over like a tube, and then as you squeeze it, it actually pushes all the grease up inside the bearings. But I don't have one of those. So anyway, let me give my dad a call real quick, tell him what I found on this, and then I'll get right to the packing of the bearings real quick. You want to know how things are about to get serious? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pack these bearings over here. I'm gonna show you how to do it. All right, so this one's been cleaned. I put gloves on this time because I got tired of wiping my hands off. But I have to do this all in one shot because I only have one pair of gloves. All right, this bearing sits down inside here like that, and that's its home. And I'm moving it back and forth to see if there's any play, and there's no play, so that tells me it's good. You see how the bearings roll around on the inside? You see that? Hopefully I can zoom in enough to get that. But that's what it's doing. So as you're going down the road, it's actually, I mean, it's truly not spinning at the same speed. But we're gonna go ahead and pack that. So once that's packed, and then I'll put more grease on the back side here, then I'll put this seal back over this, and I'll tap that in until it's flush again. And what will happen is grease will pack on the inside of here, and then I'll flip it over and start filling the grease on the back side and repack the other bearing. For an application like this, you would need to get yourself some automotive multi-vehicle high temperature red grease. High temperature. That is the key, especially for a trailer of this size. This is a very heavy duty trailer, so don't get the mediocre grease. Get the stuff that's gonna do really good. All right, what I like to do is I'll take my bearing, put it on my hand like so, and I'll scoop a bunch of grease out like this. I got junk on my finger. It's not like we need that. I'll scoop a bunch of it out, right? And I put it on my hand, and I'm pushing down at the same time I'm pushing with my wrist inside the bearings. I'll try to keep any dirt out of there, which there is. This stuff is thick, which is good. I am pushing the grease down inside these bearings into the needle bearings. I'm kind of like I'm squeezing it as it goes around. And this is a mess, but it is necessary. I'm pushing it down. See how it's being pressed inside the bearing? And that's where the squeezing part comes into play, because it pushes it past those other bearings. And you want to apply this generously, liberally. because this is a very important part of your axles. This prevents heat. It helps with gas mileage. And then hold the outside and try to turn the inside if you can. There you go. And that will help roll it around and move all that grease in there. And that's why it's important to have really good gloves for this. Don't get some cheap cloth gloves. You don't want to do that. So I'm pushing it in there. Trying to shove all that grease inside them bearings. And you repeat this process for every one of them you ever do. So that no matter the load that's on there, it's going to have almost no friction. And then they're not moving like they did before. They don't move at all. But yeah, this is what they call packing bearings. All right, take a load of your grease, stick on the inside of the lip. All right. The reason for this is so that when you put that seal on the back, it's got grease on both sides of these bearings so that they don't rub up against each other and create any more friction. Where the bearings themselves, the needles, ride is what they call a race. This is a race on the inside. And then you take your bearing, slide it down in there, down in his home, and now he's happy. Then I'll take that seal, maybe a little bit more. It probably wouldn't hurt. Around back here. That's the point. Because we're going to put a tractor on this thing, and I want no problems going down the interstate. And then we take that cover and flip it and put it over the top, and then tap it around to where it's nice and sealed. And then the axle itself, or the spindle, will go up against the back of this this bearing and hold it in place, which is good, and that's what it's supposed to do. All right, so let's grab this other bearing and let's pack it. Excellent. Just sit there right there. There we go. You lightly tap around so it's flush all the way around it. Make sure that's flat. Now, one thing you don't want to do is get grease on the inside here, but I'm gonna wipe all this down and hit it with some gasoline and dry it all out. But yeah, the last thing you want is to get grease inside here. I don't have a choice right now. I'm making sure that that is in there, and it is in there, so that's good. And it needs to be flush. Don't run it all the way down. Grease does not do well with brakes. Okay, so you want to get all of the grease off. All right, next thing you're going to want to do is you get some grease, and you want to put it around this spindle right here, and then you put your hub back on in that order. So we get just a wee bit. It's not a lot. Don't need to just plaster it, but you want to get it on here. Next, you take a bunch of grease, you fill this cavity in here, and you do it liberally. I mean, I just fill the snot out of it. All right. Come on. And it goes back on. There we go. The drag in here is the brakes. Relax. Whew. Man, that is something else. Okay, and then you take this other bearing, the outer bearing, and you put that inside here. It will find its home right there. There she goes. That's good. All right, now that we have that in place, put a little bit of grease on the outside. I gave up on the gloves. Next is this is a washer. Basically what this does is it holds that, it's got a notch in it, so it only goes on one way. You slide this on and it pushes up against that bearing and it keeps it firm. And then you take the nut that's on here, it's a Castle nut, you run this up, and that pushes against that washer, which pushes against the bearing, keeping everything in line. There we go. Man, I gotta fight this sucker. And I know there's a torque spec for this, but honestly I don't remember what it was. I'm just gonna go until it's nice and snug. There really should be a good torque spec on it. And then you take the cotter pin, you run it through that, but I gotta torque this down first. And I don't have a wrench or a socket that big. I have one in the garage. Let me go get it, and then we'll tighten that up. All right, I ended up using crescent wrench to tighten that down enough. Then you take your cotter pin, you run that down through, make sure it's clean without any debris on it. Run that through here. All right, all the way down, and then one side you bend it up and the other side you bend it out. it prevents that castle nut from backing off. And then you put the wheel back on, spin it, feel how free it is. That right now, I'll tell you right now, is way better than it was before. You'll hear some dragging, but that's going to be the brakes. Excellent. And then you take your cap, and you'll take a bunch of grease and fill this inside here, and then you put the grease cap back on there nice and snug. Use your mallet and just work your way around and make sure it goes on straight, and put the wheel on and you're done. So hopefully this helped out some of you guys. If you guys have never built one of these before, I have to repeat this process 1, 2, and probably 3 more times, and it took me about 2.5 hours to do this one. This is a messy process, so I highly suggest you get all the proper equipment ready for it, and just be prepared to get messy that day. So, but anyway, if you guys found this helpful, please like, share, comment, and subscribe down below, and definitely comment on your experience and what you got on this. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. So until next time, y'all take it easy. I love you. Goodbye.